What is going on, you sweet, sweet people of HEX? How's it going? Hope I'm not messing this up too much. I just got StreamYard of all services. Hold on one second. All right. So yeah, StreamYard is going to be the new platform. And I'm streaming on DLive. I'm streaming on YouTube, hoping they don't kick me off. We'll see how long I last. I got no tags or anything in my description, so we'll see if I survive the epic ban hammer of YouTube. And then streaming on Twitch as well. I don't know who's on Twitch, but hope you like it. I've been playing around with StreamYard, got some subliminal messaging going in the bottom here. It's a lot of fun, guys. It's a lot of fun. $20, $25 for the subscription. I mean, really not bad. I've tried so many services and honestly, I've tried Restream first. I tried Restream. I paid $150 for a year subscription by accident. And they don't do refunds, guys. So be careful with Restream. Be careful with Streamlabs. I tried Restream too, and then I paid for $20 worth of a subscription for them. Turns out they don't really have all the multi-streaming capabilities I thought they did. They don't really stream to YouTube or anything like that. So here I am, StreamYard of all things. Just get the subscription. It's freaking awesome. It's a lot of fun. What's up, Johnny Chaos? Good to see you, man. The topic of tonight's show is going to be about HEX Maximalism. And I am not calling you out at all. I just want to explain a couple of terms that I think we can all kind of differentiate between ourselves, so we don't end up like the Bitcoin maxi pads that we know and love so much. And that's really the topic of today. I'll try to make it pretty quick, and then I'll just answer questions. If you guys are nice to me, I might have a few mods in the chat. Actually, Johnny Chaos, let me make you a mod just in case anybody starts to give me some shit. Add moderator. So yeah, trying to step up the game a little bit. I'm here. You can see behind me, I've got the beautiful city of Hexaco City, and it's looking great, guys. No crime in this city. Absolutely not. It is beautiful. What's going on, Marty Markinson? How you doing, man? Yeah, Hexaco is a great city, man. There's no riots here. There's no, there's no coronavirus actually in Hexaco. They've actually cured it. I'm probably gonna get kicked off YouTube for sure. I am not going to make it past one stream, but hey, I'm going to try not to mention a lot of crypto terminology, especially not in my descriptions, because they're really, I think what they're doing is like a keyword search and just keyword search ban. And Johnny Chaos, I am going to leave it to you to troll smash the heck out of those guys, if there are any. Anyway, good to see all you guys. I wanted to talk a little bit today about basically ideology, about idealism, and what's the difference, right? There's a lot of talk these days that if you like one coin, you must not be able to like any other coin. And that's the way the Bitcoin maxis have been thinking for years. I mean, ever since 2017, it's been cool to be a maxi because the maxis have been the least wrecked among us. I mean, they still lost money, right? They really just didn't lose as much money as everyone else. So they got wrecked 80%. Everyone else got wrecked 90, roughly. And they've turned to this ideology of what's called Bitcoin maximalism. And I don't see the same thing happening in HEX, and I don't think it ever will, because I think the quality of the thought leadership and just the quality of content within HEX is a bit more open-minded. I think we do, for as much as we like to shit talk other coins, I mean, it's easy sometimes to trash talk coins with, backdoors and promise coins and all this kind of stuff. It's easy to trash talk them, but for me personally, I'm a little bit scared, right? I'm scared of ideology. I don't want to ever fall into the bucket of having an ideology, because that kind of binds you to this set of ideas, and it's almost like a doctrine. So it becomes like a religion at some point. And there's ideology in everything. There's Tesla maximalists. There's people that just, love Elon Musk and jump all over him every time he tweets something. So it's important to separate. And I had to do all this Googling of like, what is ideology versus what are ideals versus what are ideas. And really an ideology, as we define it, is a doctrine or a philosophy of beliefs, kind of a body of beliefs and principles that belong to a group. And it's kind of a guiding force behind a group. It's what leads to a lot of tribalism. It's innate in our psychology. We're kind of programmed to do it, unfortunately. I know we all think we're being different, but we all like to be different in the same ways, ironically. So but ideology, it starts wars. It can be very detrimental, and we see that with this so-called toxic maximalism versus what I think the original Bitcoin maximalist ideals were based off of. Were just that, ideals. And so it turns out the word ideal does not mean the same thing as ideology, right? So an ideal as a concept is a standard of beauty or something to all strive towards, but it's kind of vague and nebulous, and it's really just something to strive towards. Whereas an ideology is kind of a binding and constricting set of beliefs that you must follow. Otherwise, you'll be banished from the tribe, all this stuff. And ideas, the core ideas and kind of the memes and the ideas are the smallest part of ideals. And I kind of look at it like almost like a triangle, like ideas feed up to ideals. And if you've got enough people with ideals and you give them enough time and maybe you let them go awry and give them a few, psychotic leaders and stuff like that, eventually it might become an ideology. And let me just be clear where I'm going with this. I don't think HEX is an ideology at all. HEX as a group is a very powerful idea. It's a very powerful meme that aims to fix crypto with mass adoption. At least that's what I think. And it's just an idea of what a cryptocurrency should be. There's no right or wrong answers towards this, but so far it's the best idea that I've seen because it follows all these ideals that Richard Hart has that I share most of them, I believe. And I think a lot of the community, which has been built behind these ideals, shares these ideals. So, I just want to kind of warn the community, but before becoming too ideological, and keep an open mind, towards other things that might come up. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to ever mention names of stuff that's not HEX or anything, but I'm not going to lie. From time to time, I do look into these things. They catch my eye, shiny objects, right? And, I had my eyes open for something great, but once I found HEX, I just really haven't found anything better. So, you can please don't shill me your coins because I'm not going to be reading that stuff. People will one-off message me to look at coins. I'll look into them, but they don't really even match the ideas that I think HEX was built on. At least HEX seems to have the majority share of all these ideas that form these ideals of crypto, which are privacy, self-sovereignty, freedom of commerce, and just freedom of information, censorship resistance. All these things that we see are being sold out to banks, to VC funding, admins with backdoors, all this kind of stuff that we don't like, that crypto tried to get away from. The decentralization argument is something we can get into later. But yeah, so the truth, really, the truth is there an objective truth? I have no idea. I would like to believe there is an objective truth, and it really doesn't have anything to gain if whether or not you believe in it or not, right? But a lot of these cryptos, they need you to believe in them in order to survive and exist. So HEX, it's going to continue to exist whether you like it or not. The rate of its growth might have a little bit more to do with obviously the demand and the onboarding and whatever work we do as a community to get other people to basically believe in these ideals. And that's the kind of fine line between trying to sell this to somebody else versus, forcing it down their throat. But I think you can kind of let HEX sell itself, right? And by believing anything totally, just hook, line, and sinker, I think you give up your freedom of believing anything else, right? So, it could be tough to ask the hard questions, and I'm not saying anybody shouldn't, right? But what I am saying is we're going to hear these questions come up time and time again. And so if you haven't already reconciled to yourself, some of the basically I call them like the main like 2 or 3 counter arguments to HEX. If you haven't already, come to terms with that, I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is kind of a stream for the veteran hexers, and I'm happy to talk more about, the OA and whatever else comes up on one-off videos. But it's kind of like, I can almost see where Richard's coming from. I know he gets super pissed off, with people, but it's like you answer the same question enough times and it starts to be like, okay, do I need to make another video about this that I already made 6 months ago and nobody wants to, just dig it back up? And the problem is, the unfortunate thing about onboarding is the answer is yes. You have to treat all these people as new people that are just coming in. They don't know anything about HEX. So a lot of people, they'll come to HEX just like it used to be the joke, if you make an altcoin, you just got into Bitcoin and you're here to fix it, right? So anyway, I've discovered that, it can be tough to ask the hard questions, but you always should anyway, and always make sure that you know why you're a part of this and why you're a part of this community. There's a lot of counter arguments against, centralization. And it's this concept of centralization, right? It's kind of like it's like a utopian concept, right? So these are these ideals that I was talking about, these utopian ideals of decentralization, both technically and economically, are things that we strive for. But, none of the cryptos that we've seen have truly reached a level of pure decentralization. Everyone's trying and people are getting close. And I think unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's just time, right? Time plays a critical role because we can only see the merits of this stuff through time. So, comparing, economic centralization of HEX in its first 8 months, to a coin that's been around for 10 years doesn't make a lot of sense, because these things take time to trickle down. And, Satoshi pre-mined Bitcoin for the first few weeks, right? The cypherpunks owned all of Bitcoin. Why? There's all these arguments to be made for and against HEX or any other cryptocurrency, but I don't think anything can ever truly be perfectly decentralized. And HEX is pretty close because it's already a step above in terms of the technical decentralization, right? So it's technically decentralized, meaning it has no off switch, and it's built on the back of Ethereum, which I think the community can generally agree is more or less decentralized in terms of the nodes around the world. Maybe Bitcoin maximalists would debate that, but I feel like it's earned its stripes in terms of the decentralization technically of Ethereum. And if HEX piggybacks off that with no admin key, with no central authority that can change any variables or anything like that, I think we're already a good portion of the way there. And I think you're just going to have to wait, unfortunately, for more economic decentralization if that's what's bothering you, right? So these are all these risks that we're just taking, whether you want to or not. And if you're not okay with those, again, I think you shouldn't really be in crypto in general. Although I do think the foundations of HEX are good enough, even for a non-crypto individual, especially with the ease of explaining it and the kind of levels that we have to explain all these different concepts. But yeah, I'm probably rambling. So what do you do in the meantime, like with all this free time, right, that you now have, because your free time is freed up by HEX? Because if you are part of the community and you really are into the idea of promoting HEX because you believe that it can lead to mass adoption, which I do, which is why I made this channel. Well, with your time that you freed up, that you're not trading your life away, which, is one of those ideals that I'm actively embracing, right? So the ideal of not trading and being productive, or trying to be productive in your spare time, you're now free to do whatever you want, right? Which is why the community is building awesome stuff all the time. And I've seen nothing like this in terms of other communities. I've got a link tree in my description below, which is a link to only a fraction of some of the websites that the community has built. So to me, building for HEX seems like a good use of time, right? If if you want what we all want, right, which is mass adoption of crypto. And it's mass adoption of crypto, but it's mass adoption of HEX too. They're one and the same to me. So crypto mass adoption is something that we're all kind of crazy enough to believe can happen. Not only like through HEX, but because of HEX. I think HEX could be, if not the catalyst, at least it could be a major catalyst, right? In terms of mass adoption, because it creates something that is the second most popular product at a bank. You know, it's something that everyone's familiar with. It's a way to earn yield trustlessly. Again, trustlessly with an asterisk, because philosophically, trustlessly is like a deep rabbit hole, you know. But it's about as trustless as I've seen it get. And I believe, yeah, like I said, I believe, you know, mass adoption can happen through HEX. And, you know, society will create these, I've got these bullet points on my screen, by the way, so I don't have this all off the top of my head. Society creates these cults of personality, right? And people rally around others that have great ideas. And that can be a bad thing sometimes, right? If you let the so-called leader become... See, I think there's a difference between a leader and an influencer. I look at Richard Hart more like an influencer. He's not a leader, not so much a person that is like a dictator, but someone that will go with you kind of into battle and be more of an influencer, like in that way. But I think that there's the community that he's built alongside of this project. It's something that we can all take away from. That's the piece of value that we can all kind of take away. So even though Richard has kind of created this almost cult of personality, you might notice he's shied away a little bit. And I think he's been doing this in order to build. And it's pretty clear to me that well, never mind. We shouldn't even talk about that because he's doing cocaine and hookers all day. But I believe that he has kind of left it in the hands of the community to take up the collective cult of personality. And it's much better if there's, you know, a bunch of us, right? Rather than just one, you know, almighty Lord and Savior that we look up to, because then again, you infringe on that concept of ideology. If everyone's looking up to one guy. So I think it's great that we've got all these different, you know, thought leaders and influencers, you know, nobody to really point all one finger to, and nobody should bear the entire burden of the responsibility, right? By the way, if you can hear me, guys, let me know. I don't know how my sound is, but I've been ranting for a while. So where was I? Cults of personality, not bad, but better when they're a little decentralized. So a decentralized cult of personality is almost like what the community is, right? We're all these different little nodes of personality that are all coming together to make really cool shit. So Richard Hart's been basically shying away from the public light, and I believe that's in order to build, like I said. There's a reason that he's focused on these principles, or these first principles of cryptocurrency, anonymity, you know, cryptos as a payment platform, all these things that have been built with ZK Sync and Hex NATO, even Hex Transfer. It's this new thing, Hex Transfer.xyz. It allows you to spend Hex without having to use ETH for gas. So take one more step out of the onboarding process with that. You know, it's in beta, so be careful. But I think a lot of the developers in the community, most likely Richard himself, are interested in these first principles of cryptocurrency because they're trying to make it what crypto was always meant to be. And I don't think a lot of people realize all of the different branches that are being worked on in HEX right now. A lot of times people get distracted by, you know, what's on the homepage or the white paper of the crypto of the week, right? But I mean, how many can say that they've got communities of thousands? And, you know, all working on kind of the core ideals of cryptocurrency. So, you know, in my mind, crypto is designed to dissolve the hierarchical power structures that control the world's currency, you know, people that start wars, governments that kind of exist only for the purpose of propagating themselves. And so ironically, kind of the same shit has popped up in crypto, right? You've got all these little factions kind of warring and throwing shit at each other and not really getting anything done by that. you know. So it's kind of happening on a micro scale. I made a video a while back about micro tribalism, right? So it's like this new concept that, you know, there's really, really tiny factions now, and everybody's got their own little hill that they can stand on. So it's kind of ironic, right? But imagine kind of a world where everybody has the ability to create wealth for themselves, and, you know, not by being a trader, but by investing in something sound that adheres to the ideals of HEX, or the ideals of cryptocurrency, and by investing into something that can mathematically and programmatically kind of make them guaranteed interest in HEX, obviously, but by code, not by promises, and not by banks. So because they're able to kind of trust that the code will do this, again, it frees up their time to kind of create whatever they want to. You can go make art, or you can go do what Richard is doing, and you can go work on life extension or whatever else. But it frees up our time to basically get out of the rat race and do whatever we want to do with our lives without being locked into this kind of society or some of these ideological boundaries that we're kind of sometimes born into, right? So that's the vision of HEX, and that's the vision of crypto as it was, at least, you know, when I read about it back in 2015. But, you know, a lot of that stuff is going out the window with big businesses and, you know, stuff, big banks looking to get involved, hedge funds, everything like that. Those aren't all bad. You know, they all play a part, I think, in the ecosystem. I mean, who else is going to advertise for Bitcoin, right? But that is basically the vision, right? So regardless of whichever crypto kind of wins, you know, people, I think, have lost sight that, you know, we all win if we get mass adoption. And I think HEX is going to be really well set to take us there. So yeah, maximalists are going to try to shield Bitcoin. Please know that no matter what coin you like, you know, mass adoption of, you know, this new technology is not going to be helped by wasting your time arguing with random people on Twitter or Telegram or whatever your arguing platform of choice is, right? Or you can, you know, whatever, fuck it. If you want to go argue, you want to blow up some steam, who am I to tell you not to? But at the end of the day, you know, people infighting is kind of what destroys movements, right? You know, agent provocateurs have done this all throughout history, you know, throughout for centuries. But yeah, anyway, ideologies, they make me uncomfortable. And what else? That's kind of the conflict, though. That's the conflict with trying to sell something to somebody. It leads into that spectrum of certainty versus uncertainty. So like, so you know, or you can never truly be certain of anything. Like I said, I can not truly ever be certain that HEX will be a success. But to me, it has a higher percentage than every other coin that I've seen. So that's why I'm trying to spend some time promoting it on the internet to you great people of Hexago. And a lot of people have a hard time with uncertainty at all, but it's a spectrum and you're never going to get fully rid of it. And unfortunately, that's the job of marketers, is to, well, I keep saying unfortunately, the job of marketers is to kind of bring the spectrum of uncertainty from an area of low certainty to an area of high certainty. Again, never fully 100%, but it goes against the kind of skeptics or developers mindset. You know, that's kind of why, you know, developers don't always make good salespeople. You know, some of them are great, but salespeople are focusing on moving the lever from low certainty to high certainty, right? So anyway, almost done with my rant. I'll get to some questions. I wanted to read Vitalik Buterin's definition of maximalism. Because if you look at maximalism online, guys, it doesn't even, it's not even really a term. Maximalism as a term is, or Bitcoin maximalism is a new thing. It's been invented in the past 3 years. Maximalism as an ideology is like, it's like the opposite of minimalism. It's like having a lot of stuff. So it has nothing to do with Bitcoin maximalism. But let me find it here. Here we go. So Ethereum developer Vitalik Buterin once stated that maximalism reflects the idea that an environment of multiple competing currencies is undesirable, that it is wrong to launch yet another coin, and that it is both righteous and inevitable that the Bitcoin currency comes to take a monopoly position in the cryptocurrency scene. But then he distinguished the maximalist philosophy from a simple desire to support Bitcoin and make it better. So he distinguished that because obviously the desire to support Bitcoin and make it better, those motivations are beneficial to everybody. If you have a breakthrough in Bitcoin, then any crypto can use it, and vice versa, hypothetically. But rather, it's a stance that maximalism has become a stance that building anything that's not Bitcoin is the only correct way to do things, and that doing anything else is almost like unethical, right? So they'll use all kind of weird, weaselly arguments to deny that there's any value outside of Bitcoin. But it sounds kind of ridiculous to me. And so, I mean, that's where I stand on it. I think it's a silly notion. I think we should all not try to be too ideological. We should apply the good parts of the maximalist definition to HEX and ditch the unhealthy part, right? So the part about building on top of HEX and wanting to make HEX the best thing ever, let's keep that part of maximalism, but let's get rid of the, everything else is dog shit, except for the fact that most of it is, unfortunately. So let's just not be as shitty as those maxis, I guess. Anyway, I'm done with my rant. I wanted to talk about Mooniswap too. But hold on, let's answer some questions here. What do we got going on? Got 44 people. What's going on, guys? What's up, Kinetics? I love this community too. And Telegram, RH is a dictator. Yeah, he's a self-proclaimed benevolent dictator of his Telegram. You have to do that. I think you have to. It's like if you're trying to have a party and a bunch of just drunk people come in and start puking everywhere. It's like you're gonna kick them out. I mean, I don't know. There is some level of just decency that you have to hold up in any community. Let's see. What else? Richard himself said, we are revolutionaries and therefore hard to get along with sometimes. Yeah, I think that we all are kind of aligned on the crypto ideals, but unfortunately, maximalists of other coins and then traders and people in it for short-term gain on the other side, they're all kind of butting heads with the original ideals, I would say. What do we got here? I don't want to talk about any other coins but HEX today, guys. And this will be a really short stream, so I'll post it later. Yeah, I see a bunch of comments about other coins, but I'm not going to be answering that stuff. I want to share my screen for a second. Let me show you guys something really cool. Share screen, Chrome tab. All right, where is Mooniswap? Check this out, guys. Mooniswap. So there's been a big thing on Telegram lately about how basically how HexDex has been, registered as some kind of a phishing site, but I don't even think we're going to need that, guys. Mooniswap is like pretty much the shit. We just need liquidity on this thing. I mean, look at this, guys. We got these unicorns here. These unicorns are like more badass than Uniswap because they're like more angry. And check this out, guys. I haven't even connected my wallet yet. But the big thing about Mooniswap is that HEX appears right in the token name field. You don't have to enter the address at all. It just appears right there. So I wouldn't recommend trading too much on here yet because I don't think there's a lot of liquidity, but I'm very optimistic about this. This is just one of the latest of many things that, I'm super optimistic about. It's basically just Uniswap, but, way more badass, and they're not censoring us. So what more could you ask for, right? What's going on in the chat, guys? I'm going to probably hop off here because I am busy. I got some other shit to do. What else? I sound like a HEX Maxi. Yeah, I probably do sound like a HEX Maxi. But again, if you were listening, you would have caught the part about ideals and shit. Hope the prices stay the same till Friday so I could buy the dip. Yeah, me too, man. Really low prices right now. Bancor 2 versus Mooniswap. I have not heard of Bancor V2. Honestly, I think Mooniswap could have gotten a better name too. It's like, come on, guys. Mooniswap? Like, you're just going to take Uniswap and put moon in front of it? Like, what the fuck? How do you drink your coffee? Cream and sugar, black, frappuccinos only. I do black, dude. I do black. I've been trying to wane off of it, but it's hard, man. I just moved, so I got a lot of moving type shit to do. What else we got, guys? I'm gonna hop off in a little bit. Good seeing you too, Kinetics. Awesome stream, bro. All right. A stream about not being maxis and all the comments about other coins were deleted. I'm not the moderator on this, but I'll let my mods do what they feel is right. Anyway, guys, do I have any other good comments in here at all? We got 50 people. It's good to see all you guys again. I'm going to start doing these more regularly. What's up, Coffee? Hope all is good. Yes, it is, sir. I just moved, so I am a busy mover guy right now. What else? You're officially going to be my grandfather? That's weird. Okay, guys, I'm not seeing too much else. I'm going to play a nice little outro video. You guys have a great day. As always, keep calm and hex out.